How much do we truly understand about the unimaginable realities of life in Nazi concentration camps, focusing on Auschwitz? This question is more than mere curiosity. It's an essential part of understanding one of the most atrocious periods of human history. But to fully grasp the magnitude of the horror, we must venture into the heart of darkness, into the daily life, harsh conditions, and the harrowing experiences endured by prisoners. From the moment of their arrival to the brutal selection process, from the grueling daily routine to the inhumane living conditions, from forced labor to the cruel medical experiments, every aspect of life in these camps was a testament to human suffering and resilience. Yet amidst the brutality, stories of resistance and survival emerged, reminding us of the indomitable spirit of humanity. As we embark on this 8-minute journey, we will delve into the depths of these experiences, unveiling the unthinkable realities of life during one of history's darkest chapters. Upon arrival, prisoners faced a brutal selection process. The wheels of the cattle cars would groan to a halt, the doors would be flung open, and the harsh glare of spotlights would catch the bewildered faces of those who had just been transported to Auschwitz. In the midst of this confusion, the SS officers, clad in their ominous black uniforms, would stand in judgment. These officers were not judges in any court of law, nor were they making decisions based on any semblance of justice. They were agents of a brutal regime, making life and death decisions with a flick of a finger. To the left meant hard labor, starvation, and unimaginable suffering. To the right meant immediate death in the gas chambers. This was the selection process, a cruel and calculated system designed to maximize the efficiency of the Nazis' extermination plan. It was here, under the shadow of the infamous Arbeit macht frei sign, that the fate of millions was decided within mere moments of their arrival at the camp. The elderly, the sick, pregnant women, young children, they were all deemed unfit for work and were often sent directly to the gas chambers. Those who were chosen for work, however, were not spared from the horrors that lay ahead. They were merely condemned to a slower, more torturous death. This process decided who would live and who would be sent to the gas chambers. This was the chilling reality of arrival and selection in Auschwitz, a testament to the unimaginable cruelty of the Nazi regime. In the camps, a grueling daily routine marked the prisoners' existence. Each day began before sunrise, with prisoners waking to the harsh call of a whistle or bell. This was followed by roll call, a torturous process where prisoners were made to stand for hours in the biting cold or searing heat, as camp officials counted and recounted them. Missing even a single prisoner would mean extended roll calls, and often brutal punishments. Next came the meager breakfast, usually a piece of bread and some watery soup, barely enough to sustain life, let alone the hard labor that awaited them. The rest of the day was consumed by grueling, back-breaking work with minimal breaks and constant threats of violence. At night, they packed into overcrowded, unsanitary barracks, their bodies crammed together on wooden bunks. The daily routine was a testament to the cruelty of the Nazi regime. The living conditions in the barracks were beyond inhumane. Imagine being confined in a space designed for 50 people, but instead housing up to 700. The overcrowded barracks were filled with triple-tiered bunks, each meant to hold 3 prisoners but often accommodating up to 6. These bunks were nothing more than wooden planks, offering no comfort or relief from the harsh realities of life in the camps. Hygiene facilities were minimal and woefully inadequate. Toilets were no more than holes in the ground, and prisoners had limited access to running water. Disease spread rapidly in these conditions, with lice and rats adding to the misery. The lack of personal space and the constant threat of disease further stripped prisoners of their dignity and humanity. These conditions further dehumanized the prisoners and made survival a daily struggle. Every day was a battle against the odds, a grim testament to the human will to survive. Prisoners were subjected to forced labor, often in backbreaking conditions. Their days were filled with grueling tasks, from dawn till dusk with minimal rest. The types of labor varied widely, from construction and heavy industry to farming and even armaments production. The Nazis sought to exploit every ounce of productivity from their captives, turning the concentration camps into hubs of forced labor. Prisoners were used to build the very walls that confined them, to manufacture the weapons used against them, and to farm the land that barely fed them. These laborers were not only exploited for their physical strength, but also for their skills and knowledge. Skilled workers, such as carpenters, blacksmiths, and tailors, were made to use their crafts for the benefit of the Nazi war machine. The forced labor was yet another instrument of torment and dehumanization, stripping prisoners of their identity and reducing them to mere cogs in the monstrous machinery of the Third Reich. Many prisoners became victims of cruel medical experiments. The notorious Dr. Josef Mengele, known as the Angel of Death, conducted some of the most horrifying experiments at Auschwitz. He held a morbid fascination with twins, believing they held the key to understanding genetic inheritance. Twins were subjected to painful procedures, often without anesthesia, and were frequently used in comparative studies that ended in death. Pregnant women, too, were not spared. They were often targeted for sterilization experiments and endured unimaginable cruelty. Prisoners were also exposed to infectious diseases and extreme conditions to study the limits of human endurance. The absence of any ethical consideration was stark, as these experiments were carried out with a complete disregard for the prisoners' well-being. These experiments represented the darkest side of humanity, a chilling reminder of the depths to which people can sink when they devalue the lives of others. Despite the brutality, some prisoners showed remarkable resilience. In the face of unimaginable adversity, there were instances of courage and defiance that shone through the darkness. Some prisoners managed to smuggle in weapons or medicine, others created clandestine schools to educate children, and some even orchestrated daring escapes. Within these walls of despair, acts of resistance, both large and small, served as a beacon of hope and a testament to the determination of the human spirit. Individuals risked their lives to save others, to preserve their dignity, or simply to survive another day. They found strength in solidarity, in shared stories, and in the faintest glimmers of humanity amidst the inhumanity surrounding them. These acts of resistance and survival are testaments to the indomitable human spirit. They remind us that even in the darkest corners of history, hope can endure, resilience can bloom, and brave souls can defy the odds. As Allied forces liberated the camps, survivors faced the immense challenge of rebuilding their lives. The liberation brought with it a mixture of relief, shock, and overwhelming grief, as the survivors grappled with their newfound freedom and the stark reality of their experiences. Many were left with physical and emotional scars that would never fully heal. Yet, in the face of these unimaginable hardships, the survivors showed remarkable resilience. They built new lives, started families, and contributed to their communities in meaningful ways, all while carrying the heavy burden of their pasts. They also played a crucial role in ensuring the world would not forget the horrors of the Holocaust. Their testimonies provided invaluable insights into the atrocities committed and served as a stark warning of the dangers of hate and intolerance. In this way, the survivors became torchbearers of memory, their stories shaping our understanding of this dark period and prompting global efforts to prevent such atrocities from happening again. The Holocaust left an indelible mark on human history. Understanding life in Nazi concentration camps is essential. It's a sobering reflection of the depths to which humanity can sink, and a stark reminder of the resilience that can emerge even amidst the most unimaginable horrors. Looking back at these dark chapters of history isn't easy, but it's necessary. It helps us to appreciate the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of preserving human rights. The Holocaust leaves us with a powerful legacy, the duty to remember the millions of innocent lives lost, the pain endured, and the atrocities committed. But it's more than just remembering. It's about learning from the past, being aware of the signs of rising hate and discrimination, because the horrors of the past aren't just history, they're lessons that teach us the importance of empathy, of understanding, and of acceptance. Lessons that show us the devastating consequences of prejudice and hate and the power of standing up against them. So let us not just remember the past, but also learn from it. Let us strive to build a world that values diversity and upholds human rights, a world that rejects hate and embraces acceptance. We must remain vigilant against hate and discrimination to ensure that the horrors of the past never recur.